Hi, I'm Heyzeus. Now, as I'm sure everyone has noticed at this point, it's been a little while since there's been a case release. It's been almost 6 months. And I'm sure a lot of you remember this quote from the movie Fight Club.
On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0.
And in Counter-Strike, we also adhere to this principle, but we kind of have it the other way around. You see, in our world, on a long enough timeline, the chances of Valve not releasing a case drop to 0. So, given that we're about to enter record territory for the longest gap between 2 cases being released, I think it's time to look at just how much longer we're likely to be waiting. First of all, let's look at the number of days. So, 153 days is kind of a special number because it's also the number of days between the release of the Spectrum 2 case and the Clutch case, which, at the time, was its own record. Now, this follows a bit of a trend of cases gradually taking longer and longer to get released, but it was certainly quite a bit of a jump from the gaps in the past. I mean, you almost start to forget that people used to constantly bitch and moan that Valve never updated the game and just released new cases to milk the community. Nonetheless, given that we've been waiting this long before, and we know Valve has been gradually ramping up the amount of time between case releases, there isn't really that much reason to be surprised that we've been waiting for so long. There might also be a slightly more mercenary reason behind Valve delaying releasing a new case. As you might have heard recently, CSGO is a dead game. Okay, actually people have been saying that for the last 3 years, so to be a bit more specific, there was obviously quite a bit of disruption to the skins economy recently. There was a change to trading, gambling sites were killed off, OP skins became even shadier, but anyway, in this sort of environment, people probably aren't going to be too motivated to open large numbers of cases, so the last few months might not have been a great time to release something. But here's the flip side. Let's have a look at Steam charts for a second. You might notice that the last 2 rows here are green. The downhill slide looks like it might be over, at least for now. The game is growing again. And also, sure, it was 153 days between the last 2 cases being released, but once we're past that, well, how much longer can it really be? As I said, wait long enough and the chance of them not releasing something will drop to 0. And if you add to that the upcoming major, which is probably going to generate quite a bit of short-term hype for the game, well, it might, economically speaking, be a good time to bring out a case. Having said that, there is one potential argument against the new case being released anytime soon, and that's that we knew about the skins in the Clutch case months before that case was released, and there isn't any indication that Valve has chosen new skins at this point. Now, personally, I would chalk this up to the Clutch case being weird. There aren't really any other examples where we've known about the new skins months in advance. Most of the time the releases have come from out of the blue. So I'd argue that the Clutch case is just an anomaly, and its release just got delayed for some reason, and that's why we knew about it. Finally, there is one other thing to consider. A lot of cases tend to come tied to large updates, various operations. Winter Offensive has a case, the Revolver update had a case, the Spectrum case was released the same time as Canals, the Gamma case was released at the same time as Prime Matchmaking going beta, and there may just be a major update in CSGO's near future. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm sure the detectives in the audience could definitely puzzle it out. So, to sum things all up, we've basically set a new record in terms of the longest gap between case releases, the game's player base is stabilised, all the market turmoil is over, and a big new update is on the way. I think there's a pretty good chance we'll be seeing a new case soon. It's hard to know exactly when, but I don't think it's going to be much longer. I would say maybe a month at most, depending on how long it takes for Valve to finalise the Panorama update. Now, granted, we are still talking about Valve, and they can be a bit erratic, but given there's going to be quite a bit of interest over CSGO in the next few months, there's going to be probably more people coming back and playing the game and wanting to open cases, and the community anyway appears to be at the point where they're starting to ask for another case, I think even from their perspective, it should seem like a good opportunity to release something. And hopefully they don't miss it, like Mo missed this AWP shot.
Now we're seeing the aggressive rotation from Mo. And,
wow.
I mean, he should always get that frag.
That was a lot of time there for Semphis, before Semphis.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully it'll actually pan out for me and I won't look like a complete and utter moron. Otherwise, as always, trust the numbers and not your gut. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.